Today's video is an absolute must watch if you're a real estate agent that's going to be working and wants to blow it out of the park in 2025. The reason for this is because I'm going to teach you how to increase your closing ratio. I've read hundreds and hundreds of real estate books, taken courses, all the Tony Robbins and this and that in real estate and in the mortgage business. And I put together this kind of detailed list for you on what you need to do to increase your closing ratio in 2025. First, I want to talk about the number one thing to increase your closing ratio in 2025. I've assisted other agents in increase their closing ratio by me getting approvals for their client. Now, I'm not trying to push you into you should deal with me for any reason other than I am more experienced than other mortgage brokers. And because of that, I was able to save over 70 deals from falling apart last year alone. Now, that's huge commission. That's about $500,000 in commissions that were paid out to real estate agents because I was able to get their clients approved. These were clients that didn't come to me first, that were first at their banks or at other mortgage brokers that are less experienced than me. And I was able to put those deals together. And the reason I was able to do that is because myself and my team, there's several of us that sit down together. We brainstorm on how to get these deals approved. And our relationships with the lenders is so much more significant because we send them tons of volume of business. And that's what the banks want out of a mortgage broker. And it's very difficult to do. So that's the number one thing that I think you can do to increase your closing ratio in 2025. Now, please make sure you watch until the end of this video. I'm going to be giving some detailed information. And this year, I'm going to be sending out tons of information that's going to be able to help you get more business. But at the end of this video, I'm going to share you 5 things that absolutely kill real estate deals. I've gone out to several brokerages and taught the same thing, and it's helped agents significantly. So I think you want to hear it. Make sure you stay till the end of this video. There's tons of good information here. The second thing I want to talk about is understanding what your client is looking for specifically. So in my position, I get to hear the tail end complaints from clients when they're dealing with real estate agents. And one of the biggest complaints is that I told the agent I was looking for a 3-bedroom, or I was looking for a black kitchen, or I was looking for this type of layout, and they took me to other properties that didn't have anything to do with it. Now, what ends up happening a lot of times in this situation is if you keep on showing these clients things that they're not looking for, they're going to go and buy off of somebody else, or they're going to seek out the property themselves and end up buying from a listing agent. So that's one thing that is absolutely killing a closing ratio, is if you're showing things that's not in the client's best interest. It's important to really listen to what the client says and understand, even write down what they're looking for if you're going to be working with that client. The next thing to do is you absolutely have to build trust and rapport. So rapport is basically your relationship with that client and the trust levels you build together. So you need to have conversations that are going to spark a relationship with that client. So when I'm on the phone with a client, I try to go deep very early on in the relationship, and I try to relate some of my experiences to them that will have an impact on the way they think. So as an example of that, if I'm talking to a person that's thinking about buying a rental property, I may tell them some of my experiences with rental properties, good and bad. You don't want to come off as the person that's just like, buy, buy, buy. You want to come off as the person that is, here's a good reason to buy, and here is the potential downfall of it. If you can handle this, then it's a good investment for you to go forward. Another good way to build rapport and to build trust is to do what you say you're going to do. And I see this every day from different real estate agents, and I get phone calls from customers, and they're like, my agent said that they were going to take me to this property and they have a soccer game, or my agent said that they were going to do this by this time and then they didn't do it. So right away, that customer is feeling neglected, basically, and they're going to find somebody that will not neglect them and will give them the attention that they want. Keep in mind that to you, this may be just a transaction, a paycheck, but to them, it's the largest purchase in their life. So we definitely need to make sure that we're giving them the attention that they deserve. And, they're paying a significant, sum of money in order for you to back them up that way as well. You need to master your market knowledge. So if you're working in a certain municipality, let's say Edmonton, Calgary, or Toronto, or Vancouver, wherever you are working, it doesn't matter. You need to understand the market there. So you need to know what areas are good, what areas are bad, because it's public knowledge. You can go online and find out what areas are good or bad. You can go to like City of Edmonton Police or City of Calgary Police website to find out what areas are good or bad. The next thing you need to know is where the good schools are. You need to know where good rental properties are, where there's good shopping, what neighborhoods are newer, which are older, and cater that to what your customer is looking for. By doing that, it's going to create a huge level of trust. And you want to talk about the good and the bad. So you want to say, this area is bad because there are lots of drug addicts there. Or, there's a lot of whatever the situation might be. But you want to be able to present it that way so you don't come off as like you're pushing an area that's convenient for you. You have to make it catered to your customer in order for them to know, like, and trust you. The next thing is refining your presentation. So if you have a listing presentation or a buyer presentation, you should refine that. And while you're refining your presentation, answer common objections before the client asks them. So you want to bring things up, just kind of like what I'm doing with you right now. You want to bring things up that will mitigate objections in the future. So if you know that it's common for a seller of a property in a listing presentation to say, I'm talking to a few different realtors and I may be listing with whoever gives me the lowest commission rate. I guess that would be a very common thing when you're on a listing presentation. So especially if you don't know the people. So if you find yourself in that position, you need to mitigate that. So you would say something like, I know that there are tons of real estate agents in so-and-so market. There's over 4,000 real estate agents in our market right now. And there are a lot of really bad agents. You might have an agent that's your best friend, or you might have an agent that is related to you, but are they going to do the best for you? Are they going to be able to get you the best deal on a property? I've proven myself to be able to get you the best deal on a property because I've done that for hundreds and hundreds of clients in the past. My closing ratio is X. So I know you might get some people that come in here and tell you that they can get you the best deal, but that may not always be the case. Can they prove it? I have a proven track record, and here are my credentials. They may also say, well, so-and-so agent told me I can get $25,000 more. That's very common in a listing presentation, I'm sure. So rather than you having to deal with that, you may want to say it up front. I know a lot of agents will come into this property and they'll tell you you can get $20,000 or $25,000 more for the property, but I specialize in this area. I've sold amount of properties in the area, and I really know and understand the product in the area and the price ranges. Now, if you overprice your property up front, then you'll get a lot less showings in the back end. Less showings means not a chance of potentially it going into a bidding war and you getting more money for your home, but your property can sit on the market and go stale. So there's another example of beating them to the objection. You need to qualify leads better. This is something that's so common in this day and age because I know a lot of people are getting their leads from these lead gen companies. So these lead gen companies, yeah, sure, they come out with some good leads for you. However, There's so many of them, and there's so many tire kickers out there at the same time. So you want to make sure that you are qualifying the people better so that you can spend more of your quality time with good quality clients that are going to actually close. These lead gen companies, I mean, you might close one in 30 leads that come in, but you do have to communicate with all of them. But you want to spend your time on the ones that you know are gonna close. It's why it's so important to get these clients to me as soon as possible. Let me pre-approve them while we have momentum together, and we'll be able to close more transactions together. The next thing is leveraging technology. And this is a big one for me because obviously you probably get my emails. You get multiple emails from me. You get videos. You'll see me on social media. You'll see me on YouTube. Clearly, you'll be watching it there. But leveraging technology is absolutely huge. I mean, first and foremost, you need a CRM system. If you don't know what that is, make sure you talk to your broker or comment in the comments below, and I'll give you some ideas on what a good CRM is for a real estate agent. But essentially, what it is, it's a database where you put all your client information. You know, you walk into any store nowadays, they're collecting your data, and that's a business. If you want to treat your real estate business as a business, then you need to collect customer data. It's so important. So you want to collect data on your website, and you want to collect data through your CRM. So that's where you manually type it in, but you want to get that client information into your system. And then you want to automate an email that you're going to be sending out to these people every single month, giving them market updates. There's a lot more technology that you can use, and definitely reach out to me if you have any questions about the different types of technology that's available for real estate agents. I'd love to have the conversation with you. Improve your negotiation skills. So this is really, really important. If you haven't done it yet, definitely read some real estate books or just overall sales books. But a part of it is your self-confidence yourself. You're not going to be confident in closing if you don't know how to do it properly. So you need to improve your negotiation skills. And one of the ways you're going to improve your negotiation skills is, one, by proven track record. Two, I'd say definitely Google reviews, because that's going to show that you can negotiate. And three, the other way of improving your negotiation skill is through trial and error. I did it myself. I've been in sales for over 25 years, and a lot of it has been trial and error, learning the different things that I say and being careful with my words so that I can create momentum with the client and keep these people excited to move forward with a transaction. Next, and I know not everyone likes to do it, but ask for referrals. So you deal with a customer, you have an opportunity, you're in their face, you're talking to them every day. Ask them for a referral or a testimonial. Ask them for a Google review. You know, you get these Google reviews. I thought it was just junk before when I first started doing it. And slowly over time, as I built up the Google reviews, what ended up happening is people started going to those Google reviews and calling me off of it, because my reviews are fantastic. I mean, it's five star all the way through. So you definitely want to take a look at getting a Google review. If you have any questions about that, reach out. And when you're doing a presentation for somebody, the other thing is, you want to be able to present case studies that you've done in the past that has helped somebody. So I know you're going to be doing listing presentations, buyer presentations, whatever it might be, but you need to prove that you have a proven track record. And one way to do that is a case study. If you don't know what a case study is, definitely look it up. But basically what it is you telling a story. So client A was in this specific scenario. Let's use an example of they had just sold their property and they still have not found another property to purchase, so they could be living on the street. So what I did is I opened up my search because we couldn't find anything in their search category, and I sent a mailer out to all of the houses in the neighborhood that this client wants, and I was able to find them a house. And the best part about it is the people that were selling that property really, really wanted out, and we got the property for $15,000 below market value. if you say something like that, I think your client is definitely going to eat it up, and it creates credibility for you. And finally, the last thing I think that will help you increase your closing ratio in 2025 is continuing education. So reading those books about successful real estate agents, watching what other people do, taking courses, learning from people that have experience, maybe getting a mentor. I think a mentor is a huge thing that helps people increase their closing ratio. It builds confidence because that other person has the experience already and can tell you some of these stories that make them credible. So you see where I'm going with this. It's all kind of a total package that encompasses the closing ratio. Now let's talk about the 5 things realtors do all the time that kill real estate deals. Like, this absolutely baffles me that the brokerages, some brokerages are not teaching it. So I want to go through some of these. There are more. If you want to know more details, mention want more in the comments below. Right handyman special needs work, or as is where is in the listing, it's going to prompt the bank to do an appraisal on the property. If there's an appraisal on the property and it looks like crap, what will end up happening is any bank, they won't finance it, and your client will get declined, and then the whole deal is dead. The client's going to be pissed off, and they may drop you and go to a different agent, and the mortgage broker clearly will probably lose the deal. So, especially if they've been pre-approved and proven themselves. So writing these things on a listing can be a disaster. It's going to be in other paperwork anyway. So just don't do it. It doesn't make any sense. I've spoken to other brokers about this on whether or not you should, whether or not you have to write this in, and you don't have to write that in. The next one is not getting paperwork fast enough to a mortgage broker. As you can imagine, this is one of my pet peeves. So you have, obviously you have a closing date and you have a condition date to meet. If the condition date is, a week from now, 7 days, and you give it to the mortgage broker 3 days after acceptance, then the mortgage broker has less time to get everything done. And what ends up happening? You'll lose out on the deal. The client loses out on the deal, and you have to go and beg for an extension. Don't put yourself in the situation this year that you have to go and beg for an extension. If you need to close the deal fast, you have to be dealing with a mortgage broker that has leverage with the bank, because what ends up happening is if a standard mortgage broker that does a few transactions a year submits this to the bank, they're always on the bottom of the pile. The top end mortgage brokers are at the top of the pile every single time, and that's a fact. So make sure if you have tight conditions dates, you get it to me. The second thing is the bank doesn't give a damn about your condition date for most of the most banks. Okay, I'm not going to say all, but the majority, they don't care about your condition date. They get their hourly rate no matter what. So they're getting paid no matter what. So dealing with me, obviously, I'm on commission, and I can meet those condition dates because I have leverage with the bank. The other one is showing properties with known issues or special assessments. Don't do it. It doesn't make any sense. It's going to prompt an appraisal. If there's a special assessment, it's going to prompt an investigation into the property themselves before the bank will finance it. So I would just avoid doing it in the first place. A deal just came across my desk today, actually, where a real estate agent spent days and days with this client, and then he went and put an offer in on a property that had a special assessment on it. Set it right at the top of the listing. And so anyway, I go through this listing. I have my people inputting the data. They said, Sean, there's a special assessment on this property. Obviously, we make the client aware of it. The bank's going to find out anyway. And the client goes, what's in a special assessment? And I say, well, it's something where either you or the current owners have to pay a lump sum because there's not enough money in the reserve fund. And next thing you know, the client just goes, I don't want that property. It's done. Why did the realtor show that property to me in the first place? So you should just avoid doing that. Or if you are presenting a property with a special assessment, you can talk about that first and say, do you even want to see this? And leave it up to that client. And the last thing is showing properties over the customer's budget. So when you bring a customer to me, I give them a pre-approved amount, call it 500,000. Don't show them properties for 550,000. It doesn't make any sense. Even if you're in a market where you have to show them properties kind of in their price range and most things are going over budget, you may want to show them properties in a little bit lower price range, because if most of the properties are going over budget, then they will be over budget and then they'll put an offer in on a property they can't afford. So you want to have that conversation first. So if you are in a seller's market, you want to explain to the client, okay, we're going in, we're looking at these houses, but I know in this area, everything has gone over list for the last 3 months. So we need to make sure that your mortgage approval is going to be able to cover the potential amount extra that you need, or we need to lower your price range to give yourself some flex room, because the last thing you want to do is disappoint those people. And they'll get disappointed after they've shown their husband or wife the property and their kids the property and got them excited about it. Do you guys want this thing? And then it goes $5,000 over their budget and they don't have any money to pay the 5,000 bucks. Now what happens? You lose the deal. They lose the deal. They're mad. They're sad. It sucks. And it just doesn't make sense. I created an awesome business plan for real estate agents to make 500,000 or more for 2025. The video for that is right here. Please take a look at it, and I'll share the PDF of the business plan with you if you comment below. But definitely take a look at the video, because it is really good. It details a whole bunch of things realtors can do to get more business in 2025. Thanks for watching the video, and please like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks.